Hello and welcome to an update of the Goldilocks Experiment. Let's start this update with our first bin. And this one is the one with the small shreds and small pieces of food. Last week, all the bins got some extra bedding. Everybody got an equal amount. Now look at the babies. So we have, where did this cocoon go? Oh, here it is. So we have cocoons. Great, so they started to multiply. I am not surprised. The material looks very good. Very nice and moist. Of course, they're getting foods that are high in water content, so that's not surprising either. Okay, so just turning over the material, and now we are going to go over to that pocket where we fed and see if the food is gone. So yeah, the food is gone. This is just the skins. Skins are always last to be processed, but other than that, these guys are done. So we'll give them a feeding. And they are getting another wet feeding. More watermelon. More watermelon for these guys. This is 8 ounces. They're all going to get 8 ounces, but this is in very small pieces. And we have our oyster shell, the same cap full that all of them are going to get. And we are going to bury it. And sort of mark it with our newspaper here. These guys are doing well. Let's go over and check the middle bin. And here is our second bin. And this is our chunky material. And some of the paper is still dry, but the overall conditions within the bin are nice and moist. So it's all good. All of this will get moist eventually as I toss all the material around. Some of the drier paper will get to go to the bottom, and so it's all good. I guess the worms are congregated where the food is, which is in this corner right here. Oh yeah. So here they are. And we still have those pieces of watermelon. Takes longer. These guys are all happy, doing their thing. So what I'm going to do is give these guys a feeding. And when I check on them the week after, let's see, well, next week, we'll check that spot to make sure that that food has been eaten before we feed them again. It's okay to have 2 pockets of food, not okay to have 3 pockets of food. Too much. You don't want to overfeed. They're going to get the oyster shell as well here. I know it's a moist feeding, but that's okay. We have plenty of dry bedding in here, and that will be absorbed eventually into the bedding. We'll cover that up. I'm seeing babies in this bin as well. So they're happy. And there are a lot of castings. All of this is castings. Very nice, very flaky. And a cocoon. So these guys are laying cocoons as well. Very happy about that. Okay, let's go take a look at the last bin. And here is our final bin. This one is our large pieces. And look at all this material that's been worked over. Just amazing. And oh, just as I'm looking in there, there's another cocoon. It's a nice amber colored one. So yeah, all of them are happy in here. All of them are laying cocoons. Here's another one. And another one. Yeah, really great. And the paper, it will definitely get composted eventually. This is where we fed, and of course I'm not surprised that there's still that whole piece, but as you can see also, guys, these are springtails, and it's very normal to have them in the bin. I have them basically in all my bins, but they have shown up here, whereas they haven't shown up in the other bins. So I guess when you have food that cannot get processed right away by the worms because it's too big for them. They don't have teeth. So they need help. That's when you probably tend to get a lot more springtails and spider mites, because they're those helpers that help the worms break down the food. But there you go. So you have a whole piece. The watermelon is still there, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine. I was actually expecting that. So we're going to put the other piece in here. Again, this is the whole piece bin. So these guys have their work cut out for them, right? Trying to get this out of here. There we go. There's more cocoons over there. Oh yeah. And the oyster shell. And we're going to, oh, and this is still, still that pear. Okay, so these guys are definitely not going to get any food next week. Definitely not. So this is what happens when you don't cut up your food. Now, the worms are going to get through all of this, of course, but it just takes them a lot longer to do that. So if you are the kind of person who's just, lazy and says, I don't care, I have time to wait, then you don't have to do anything. Just put whole pieces in there. The worms will take care of it eventually, and everything will get broken down. Just will take a lot longer to do that. So things are moving along. All the bins have cocoons. All the bins have babies. Everything looks good. And this bin has now started having the springtails. So as part of the experiment, I'm also keeping an eye out for the springtails and spider mites in a bin to see which bin has more of them. So right now, this bin is in the lead. We'll see what happens as the experiment progresses. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week.